Today we're going to learn how to mask, prep, and stain and seal an overhead patio with an oil-based stain, and we did it on a job right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Hey YouTube, my name's Caleb Roth. I'm the founder and CEO here at Stain and Seal Experts, Nashville Fence and Deck Staining Contractor, and Stain and Seal Experts Fence and Deck Stains and Wood Restoration Products. And today we're going to talk about doing what many of you already have in your backyard, an overhead covered patio. And we're going to talk about staining and sealing and getting those things prepped and ready to go so you can preserve that investment you've got in your backyard. So the first thing that we want to talk about is some of the tools that we need to do this job and some of the things to keep in mind when you're doing it. So first of all, you got to select your stain color. Some of you love the water-based solid stains, and that's quite all right, but those can peel, crack, and chip over time. And so what we're installing in this video is going to be a semi-transparent oil-based penetrating stain. There's a couple reasons. The one reason, it makes a really natural, beautiful finish. Number two, it's never going to peel, crack, or chip. Number three, it's a lot easier to apply and maintain. The color we're doing here is pecan, semi-transparent. And so some of the tools you're going to need is definitely you're going to need some masking materials. So tape, 1 mil plastic. You can use duct tape or masking tape depending on what your house is. You know, if you have a hardy board house, you'll want to use masking tape. If you got brick, you can use masking tape or duct tape, but you don't want to use duct tape on a hardy board house. Ask me how I know sometime later. And also, you can use like a hammer stapler to staple the plastic up to the wood on the bottom of the porch. You got your masking material. You're going to definitely need a paintbrush. I recommend a China hair brush for these type projects. They hold oil-based stains better than the nylon bristles. You're going to need something to get overhead with, so you're going to need some kind of extension pole with either a brush, roller, or like a lamb's wool pad on the end of it. And what that's for is going to be to smooth out all the stain, to pick up all the drips and runs. You're going to need something to stand on. You're going to need a ladder. You always want to use a ladder on these projects when you're getting up in the tight spots. You don't really want to get on the roof and hang off or anything crazy like that. So ladders are your friends, and you're going to need a helper there to hold the ladder, make sure things are safe. And a water hose is a good idea. So if you spill a little oil-based stain, you got something there quick to clean it up with, and a degreaser or a detergent like a Dawn dish soap to clean up a mess. And let's get started. So the first thing that I like to see done is to either mask the back wall or to cut in the bottom of the post. You can do either way, but you really want to cut in around the post at the bottom before you wet concrete down, before you put plastic or anything, just because you need to get that first. If you wet your concrete down before you mask these posts down at the bottom, or if you cut them in first, you won't have to worry about it down the road. So just get those cut in first. Get your plastic up along the back wall. You want to go out quite a ways past the patio on each side. If the wind's blowing from left to right, maybe you want to go a little more on the right side or the left side with your plastic to catch overspray. And also, these patio covers, sometimes wind can blow the stain out from underneath it and it can go up on the roof. So you'll notice in our video, there's plastic a couple feet up on the roof that just keeps those shingles from getting any stain on them. And the gutters also. Next thing, I like to see 2 layers of plastic on the floor. One layer goes directly down over the concrete or the wood or whatever's down there, and then another layer will go over top of that one. So when you finish the job and all that stains on that first layer of plastic, you can remove it. And now you have a clean work area, but still plastic covering the ground. So let's see how we do on this thing here. Just like we talked about, they are using a 1 mil plastic, and it's a thick plastic. The little skinny stuff you get from Home Depot, probably not going to work on this. It's just going to be too hard to work with. And another thing, if you've got bushes, shrubs, plants, cover those. You can use plastic if you're going to be in and out quickly, but if it's a hot day, I recommend drop cloths or bed sheets, and you can wet those down to keep them from blowing away. The next thing we got to mask is all the fixtures. It's great if you're building your patio because you can go ahead and stain before the fixtures go in, but if the fixtures are in, you've got to mask them. And be careful, because some ceiling fans, some people don't use outdoor grade ceiling fans, and if they get water or stain inside of them, it could ruin them. So make sure you mask those, and your lights the same way. So now they're spraying. They're going to be using what we call a stain man pole. It's an extension pole for an airless sprayer, and you can do it a lot of different ways, but they're spraying it in sections on this one, and then they're just going back and back brushing. The idea is to back brush to smooth out everything. On these smooth ceilings, they don't absorb a lot of stain, so you got to put stain on it, and you can wipe it away with the lamb's wool pad or the big brush. They're using a brush here a lot of guys really prefer the lamb's wool pads on these things. The biggest tip that I can give you on doing this type of patio is that you definitely want to get the drips and runs. That's going to be the biggest enemy you have, is leaving drips and runs, because if you leave them, they're going to drip overnight, especially if it's a concrete underneath. You could have some problems. So what I recommend is you get all the drips and runs possible, and then you leave that final layer of plastic down and you don't take it up until the next day. And that's going to be probably your best course of action to tackle a project like this. They're pretty tough if you've never done them before, but if you got the right tools and the know-how, it's not something that's unachievable for anybody. And if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can do it. And if you're not, call a contractor. There's lots of guys that specialize in projects like this. But I just love to look at them because the cedar tone on this Western red cedar porch, it looks great. It's awesome. And most of this stuff comes kiln dried, so you can stain it right away, and they just really, really do a good job. And if you're gonna stain these, I recommend lighter colors. The darker colors tend to make the space feel more enclosed. So if you go with a lighter color like this pecan or a cedar tone, something like that, it's really gonna help make things not look so dark and closed. And I can't wait to do the second part of this project, because they're actually gonna redeck this with some really nice kiln dried cedar decking, and we're gonna get to stain that also, and it'll just really, I'm curious to see what color they do on the floor, because it's really gonna be a neat project. If you got any questions about other projects like this, join Staining University. It's a private Facebook group. You can go to staininguniversity.com and you can see tons and tons of projects like this. If you need a contractor and you're in Nashville, this is what we do. Call Stain and Seal Experts. You can go to stainandsealexperts.com and you can find us, have us come out and do the project for you. Or if you're anywhere else in the US, we've got a dealer directory over on our shop. So you can just click on the shop link and you will find dealers and other contractors that we endorse that would also do a great job for you. So that's it. Please like this video, subscribe to it, share it with your friends, and that's it, guys. Have a great day.